Putting it into the draining it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the weather was nice. The grass looked really, really green. There were two goalposts on both the sides of the field. There were players on the pitch as well. And except that, I think it was once again a typical Manchester United of my United performance. Like Adam's movement, that was the same movement of most of our players,
Yeah.
just
Walking pace.
lurking around on the pitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this is pretty much, this is the last game we had in our preseason, and you would expect us to, at least be somewhere near to the finished product, at least for the first game, because at least you would expect us to fill in most of our spots with players you would expect uh, to feature for Manchester United week in and week out. And I would say, except the goalkeepers, the left backs, I think almost every single spot is up for grabs, because nobody has really, been able to convince us that they can be the number ones for us in their position. And that is something that is really, really alarming, because our first game is not too far away, and that is also against a tough Brighton side. So, and if you look at the other teams like Liverpool, Chelsea, or even Man City, they have their fundamentals figured out. They know what they want to put out on the pitch. They know what the starting 11 has to feature. They know how to rotate their players around as well if they want to drop a star and bring in someone completely new. So they have pretty much figured out what their roadmap for the season. We will start figuring out our roadmap for the season when we pretty much conclude our transfer window, because that's not concluded for us as well right now. And even when that happens, we still have to integrate all of our players into the squad. We still don't know what looks like, and we still don't know what players are going to be featuring for us week in and week out, because we don't know what the situation is with Ronaldo. We don't know what the situation, you can't. I seriously don't think that we can rely on Rashford week in and week out. I think Sancho is pretty much the only winger I would establish as, our go-to winger for every single game. The midfield is a big question mark. I think our two pivots, I'm really, really scared as to how they will fare up against the likes of Brighton next in the first game of the next season. And I would say Martinez was really, really, he looked really, really good. It had a positive vibe on the ball, looked confident, looked eager and keen to, actually move around with the ball as well. So that was a good sign. But except that, I would say Malacia has been good. I think Malacia has been, he has been I would say a breath of fresh air on that left back side. But I think after today's performance, we can pretty much clear it out that Diego Dallo is going to be the starting right back for us this season. So if you, I think, except two or three spots, everything is still up in the air. You don't know what we are going to do with Harry Maguire or Victor Lindelof or Lisandro Martinez or Rafa Varane. And except that, we've got McFred pretty much stuck in the midfield. We still got Bruno and Ericsson, and we still have Donny van de Beek as well, and we still aren't able to fix them correctly, because I think when the season started, all of us expected Donny to be the starting midfielder for us in that pivot alongside someone like a Fred, or I would even say play Donny as a bit of a defensive player and play Ericsson off as a box to box.
Or maybe buy a bloody midfielder. Maybe that.
Yeah.
Just buy a midfielder.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But I would still say Donny and Ericsson could not do any worse than McFred.
No.
I mean, Charlie Savage and Zidane Iqbal look much, much better than them.
Yeah.
So
I think the chat was saying that. The chat was saying that quite a bit when Adam was on. Just to say hello, welcome to the show, everybody. We're all a bit bored and a bit annoyed by that performance, really. As you can see, Shiraz is a bit wound up by it. Shout out to Hashley down in the chat. Hello, guys. Garnacho, remember the name. Iqbal, Ahmad, Hannibal, led. I just don't know what to say. These youngsters were awesome, played much better than last year's team. Yeah, they showed a lot more fight than a lot of sort of first team players that we've got in a minute. Heaton showed he's a decent number 2. I mean, he didn't have much to do, in all honesty, to show how good he was. But fair enough. Dan, did you fall asleep at any point during that game? I won't blame you if you did, in all honesty.
Adam's stream was more interesting than the game.
Yeah.
Not saying a lot.
But yeah, to be honest, I was not that much expecting much from this game because we were playing so many youngsters in the game, and the players were playing for the first time, like Ronaldo and other players, and even Ericsson. He might have not that much gas left in his leg after yesterday's game, so I didn't expect much. But this was a game where you can decide who all youngsters can be a part of your season ongoing. So I think with today's game, we can guess that Laird can be a part of this season, and Garnacho can be part of the season, and others. Chong, I was a bit not convinced by his performance today.
No.
But yeah, other than that, this game I didn't had the expectation because the goal scoring department was missing there in the game, so we didn't had much. But first half, at some points there were some moves which could have led to a goal, but we missed those chances. And Ronaldo, at point, he was mostly involved in the most of the attacks, and but the finishing was again he didn't look that sharp as he was in the last season. But yeah, to be honest, he didn't had the training together with the team. So I think only with one session you cannot expect much with him as well. But yeah, defense also looked good. Looked good with Alex Telles. Alex Telles also looked good, but I don't think he will be part of the season with Malacia also there and Shaw is there. So
Yeah.
I think it should be. I didn't. Yeah. To sum it up, I think I didn't had much expectation, but only to decide who all will be the part of the season from the youngsters department.
Yeah. For me, it kind of showed our lack of depth in the squad. That we need investment. We need some players, because a lot of those players I just don't feel are good enough. A lot of them, obviously, they need time because they're young to develop and stuff like that. I thought Ethan Laird, decent showing. I thought he could possibly be a decent backup to Dallo if we don't bring in a right back. I think he's a better option than Wan-Bissaka. Zidane Iqbal looked good. Again, he's looked good throughout the pre-season. Tanif Chong,
Yeah.
I think he's done. I think his time at United needs to end. I don't think he's good enough. Garnacho, very good glimpses, some good movement, some good off the ball, some great sort of movement inside the box as well. I thought Garnacho was very good. Ericsson, for the first half, some good flashes, I thought, some good show of quality. I thought he was very good. Lisandro Martinez, he was quiet, didn't really sort of do much, but again, we weren't that tested in the defence, so I didn't really expect much from him. And he's still, obviously, it's his first game, so he's still getting to grips and getting his fitness together. Yeah, for me, it's just a lack of depth, and we clearly need investment in this squad. And whether Ten Hag's going to get it between now and the end of August/beginning of September, De Jong or not, I don't know. I don't hold up much hope. Adam, I know you said a lot of your thoughts during the during the watch along. Highlight a couple of players that you think shone in that game. Well, shone as much as possible, because obviously the game was a bit of a bore, and a couple of players you think weren't so great.
Well, as you pointed out there, I don't think Tahi Chong was that great at all. Really showed no end product. Probably the standout player today, I thought Ethan Laird.
Yeah.
Thought he had a good game. Probably my man of the match. Garnacho kind of was a wee bit more quiet in the second half. The build up to the goal, though, I think he was involved in it a bit. Looked all right at points, but probably him and Ethan Laird were the two standout for me. Gardner, I thought, had a bit of a rough first half, if I'm being honest. Gave away a lot of fouls, got a booking. Can see why maybe he would have been taken off. And trying to think who else can I really say had a good game. Who else? The centre halves didn't have much, really.
No.
Didn't have much of a test, if we're being honest. Yeah, I think that'd be ready. Right back and hold his hand up, and definitely have him as second choice anyway.
Yeah, Ashley Dallo, guys, has to be on that time has come to promote youngsters. We should be patient at least 2 seasons seeing a good team blossom. Yeah, no, I agree. Some of the youngsters were really good, but I also think some of our second string team did not cover them. So, like, if our first 11 goes down, the backups are looking pretty short at the minute. Like, they're not looking good,
Yeah.
which is what we've been crying out for ages. Like, our midfield, if you take out Bruno, Donny and Fred, our midfield is not good. Like, it's not good. Obviously, Zidane Iqbal promised, Charlie Savage promised, but they ain't ready to be a first team player at this point. As much as I'd prefer him over Fred and McTominay, I don't think it's going to happen because they're just far too young to put that sort of pressure on him, and clearly we need investment in the team. Shreyas, yeah, obviously it was a second string team, so we shouldn't expect that. The one bit of news that came out, I've just seen as I was like sort of setting this up, is Ronaldo left before the game was over. What are your thoughts on that, Ronaldo leaving before the game's finished?
I mean, if I'm going to be really honest, the biggest issue about all this is that even the club or even Ronaldo or even the manager, they haven't really come out officially as to, to actually tell what the situation is like, because the way it is cultivating, you can actually have almost any amount of assumptions as to what's happening with him. And looking the way it is happening right now, it clearly shows that, he's not excited to be here. Him getting taken off after the first 45 minutes, I think right now it's a bit of a, I would say, mess with Ronaldo. Because if I'm going to be honest with you, after seeing today's game, I would still say, because of the fact that we haven't really got any reinforcements, we need Ronaldo this season. Absolutely, we do. Because I know Martial is a really talented player. I hope that he is able to reach his potential under Erik ten Hag. But one thing I still know is that we still lack that eye in front of goal. We still lack that maturity. We still we don't have that instinct in front of goal right now, and none of our forwards have that. I would say Jadon Sancho, he isn't that kind of a player who's gonna be laser focused on the goal. He's one of those players who's gonna want to make that extra pass. With Rashford, I really don't see him being that player for us next season. And someone who is that player and who's still under contract with us is Cristiano Ronaldo. I would say that if Ronaldo does leave, it would lead to a situation where we will be struggling, because we don't have depth in that batting line.
We already are.
Yeah, we definitely are. And when the Premier League starts, considering the pressure of games with the Europa League coming in there as well, we need depth, especially in that striker position, because we know how Ten Hag likes to play his team. It's dominating, it's more pressure based and more possession based as well. So players are going to get tired, and when you're going to have a load of games like 2 games in 3 days, basically, we do need depth. And I don't bank on Martial for pulling in straight A performances every single time, twice a week. I don't expect him doing that. So for that, I do think that we do need Cristiano Ronaldo. I think one thing that the club has done wrong is that they've dragged this out for so long. I would say whatever the situation was, if they wanted to make him stay, if they wanted to make him leave, whatever the situation was, I think it should have been dealt with a month ago. Because I would say when we were pursuing for Frankie de Jong, we could have pretty much, tied down Cristiano Ronaldo to the club or out of the club. At least we wouldn't be in a situation wherein we're still struggling for options. We don't have any signings in, and we still don't know whether pretty much, I would still say, our number one striker would be here or not. And even if he is, what is the situation with him and the manager? And when you have someone like a Cristiano Ronaldo who's walking out of the stadium even before the match ends, it is going to create a huge mess for the club, because he is going to catch the eye of the media, and the media definitely love to create controversies, and this is one of the biggest controversies you could ever get when the name Cristiano Ronaldo is involved. So I think whatever it is, I hope that the club is able to combust this situation in the coming week or so, because if this persists into the next season, we know that it is going to affect the squad. We know that it is going to affect the manager and the end product on the pitch as well, which I would say our club this season, it cannot endure it. If that happens again, it's going to create a lot of backlash, not just among the players, but with the fans as well. They wouldn't want to see those players on the pitch ever again. And that's one of the things, even though, we made a couple of signings, for them to, actually able to express themselves on the pitch, we do need that structured 11. And right now, even though Maguire is the captain, we all know that when Cristiano Ronaldo is in a locker room, he carries that aura and persona with him. So if we are able to, tie down the leader, if we are able to, maintain a healthy environment with him, I think that would be something that could give us a boost next season rather than, just dragging everything out for weeks and weeks and weeks.
I think it's reached the point now, like Ashley Dallow says it in the chat. CR7 leaving before the end of the game is a big sign of disrespect to the manager, club, to some fans. Dan, is it just reached the point now with Ronaldo that it might be best for the team, like Shreya said, just to sort of cut ties and just get him gone?
Yeah, as you all know that I have most of my career footballing, supporting Manchester United. I have actually started watching football matches because of Ronaldo, and I've been a fan for my whole career. Uh, but yeah, these days it's becoming a bit hard to like to convince people with Ronaldo things, whatever he is doing. Uh, it is like it's sometimes you don't have any reason to say to support him for whatever he is doing at this moment, and leaving a professional like him should never leave a stadium before a match ends, whether he's playing or not. And uh, and I suppose that could be one of the reason could be like at the halftime, Ten Hag might have asked Ronaldo that we want to substitute you and give a youngster a chance in the game, and he might have not liked it. And in his whole career, he never liked to be substituted out. But a player of his stature and player of his professional and the experience, he should be knowing and thinking of the after effects of whatever his actions are, because the whole world is watching over him.
Yeah.
And the haters are there to just see that one moment what he does and just jump on him. And at this moment, I still think that if it would have been any other player other than Ronaldo, then we all would have been like thrashing the player. But when it comes to Ronaldo, we have always have that soft corner that he has been a legend for us. But yeah, he shouldn't be doing such things. I know that his intentions are clear that he's going out, but from the club side, he should also respect the club and respect the manager and the players and the position at what he is there at the club, because he is at the top level in the club. But at the same time, we are now in a place where we cannot afford to lose him, even though regardless he wants to leave, because we will not get a replacement for him, and we will never get a better replacement for him. And with all the transfer market and the business we do, the way we do, we will never get a replacement for him. So I would say like we have to stick with him at least for 1 or 2 seasons. Whatever he does, we have to take it up on our chin. Yeah, that's my take.
I mean,
But yeah,
I understand your point that we were sort of out a lack of options and we don't have a lot of. Obviously, we've been linked with this Benjamin Sesko, but I don't think he solves all the issues that we have, because clearly we're up shit's creek without a paddle at this point, because we're in need of a striker. Don't have one. We're in need of at least 2 midfielders, if not 3. Don't have them. Probably in need of a right back. Don't have it. Probably in need of a sort of winger as well. Don't have it. Adam, are you worried for the season coming that if we suffer a couple of key first team injuries, we're in a problematic place?
Yeah, I see it today basically as a cry to help to add depth to this squad, because we have no squad depth at all, especially in the forward line. Where a Rashford, Sancho, or I suppose Ronaldo currently injury away from starting like 18, 19-year-olds. And then if you look at the likes of the squad depth that Manchester City have, like it's just completely different. It is chalk and cheese. It is a worry. I'm not going to lie. I feel like if we should have got the business done as soon as possible, because it could come back and bite us in the backside if we don't get some good results at the start of the season. And maybe we finish like, I think I said it the last day, if we finish like say 3 points behind, it could be fourth spots, and the only reason we didn't because we had a bad start to the season, and that's down to not recruiting well at the start as well. So we knew the season was going to start a bit earlier. They should have had the signings in a lot sooner, and they should have had at least another 4 in. We need the squad depth. The youngsters, there's some of them that, if you're good enough, you're old enough. That was a saying. it's good to have them around. Palestri, Garnacho, add a bit of depth, but you can't rely solely on them, especially for backup.
I think it's important for youth players is you bring them in when you're playing well. When you're playing well, you bring them in, you feed them in, because then that's how you develop. If you bring them into a team that's losing, that's struggling, that's trying to sort of find its way, much like United are, and like last season, you saw what happened to Anthony Elanga. His performances dropped off a cliff. He was very much a bright spark, and then as soon as the doldrum and the shite of United just got to him, and it just dragged him down with the rest of the players, and he went off a cliff as well. I'm so conscious of that happening to players like Ahmad, players like Palestri, players like Charlie Savage, Zidane Iqbal. I'm so conscious of that. I don't think Ten Hag would do that. I think he's a better coach, like sort of tactically and as well as man management and development than Ollie is. And certainly, I'm not sure Ragnick didn't really get time, but we can see what happened. It just didn't work. I think he's better than they are, but if we start off the season badly, it's very hard to recover from that, isn't it?
Exactly. It's hard. It affects you well down the line, it does. There was just one point I wanted to make. You know how Ronaldo left early?
Yeah.
Diego Dallo also left early.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So maybe two Portuguese lads want to leave early.
Interesting.
Might be Ronaldo's agent might have called him like, you have another call from a club and we need to discuss that.
Yeah.
To add on Adam's point about signing players, it's become like an habit for this club that that we are signing players too late, and then we take the season's starting games as a time to get them up to the speed, like how we did last season. Varane, Ronaldo, and Sancho, they were bought almost at the end of the transfer window, and then we use our professional real games for them to bring up to the speed. And this is how, if imagine if we get Martinez and Eriksen a month ago, it would have been like they'll straight go into that starting lineup for the first game. But now it seems like they still need some time to get up to the speed, and will take another 2 to 3 games, real games, to grab that starting position in the lineup. So it's like it has to be improved, maybe in coming seasons, where we should be finishing off the business a lot earlier than even before the practice game starts.
Yeah, just a comment from Hashtag. CR7 thinks he's bigger than the club and the football himself. It's one of the reasons why no club will risk signing him. He's repeating Real Madrid and Juventus story in Manchester United. Yeah, obviously with Dallo leaving as well, that kind of sort of makes you wonder like what's happened there.
Yeah.
If it's not just Ronaldo, I'm not sure what's going on. Obviously, hopefully news will come out and we'll find out what happens. I'm not going to bother with player ratings because honestly,
Dallo might have asked for a lift.
Yeah, maybe.
Back home.
Yeah, I'm not.
And he's now part of the conversation.
Yeah, I'm not going to do ratings because honestly, I think it's just not worth it.
What would we even rate?
Exactly. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement. Tanith Chong's time is done at Manchester United. I think he's had his opportunities. Severe made a really good comment in the chat when Adam was on the stream that McFred as a unit have had like 2 years of chances and just not consistent thing. And then I saw a lot of people slating Donny, and I'm just like, he's not had near enough the opportunities that Fred and McTominay have had. Suresh, do you think Donny could be the sort of, not saviour of the midfield, but like a difference maker in the midfield for next season?
I think one thing that did notice in this game as well, he has the smartness on the ball. I've seen him making, those little flicks, some of them to actually, just maintain possession, just to keep the ball moving. He has that in his locker. That is something that McTominay and not even Fred have. Fred just has energy. He's good at snatching the ball back. But one thing that I did see in this whole preseason, Fred is just good for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, Fred fades away. Fred it should never be our number one choice. He's good as a squad player. He's good to come off the bench in the second half. I think if we are able to use him as a substitute for if we tuck him in on like the 60th or 65th minute mark, I think that's how we can get the best out of Fred, because he isn't the player who's going to be able to offer us the same quality for the entire 90. One thing that I have seen in Donny, he's much more coordinated while pressing. Something that I saw, and except that he does have smartness and he has the technical ability that McTominay doesn't have. So I would still say if McTominay and Fred, this is pretty much the best that they can offer us. We still don't know what Donny's best is. What Donny's best is, what he could actually offer us when he is comfortably put into the role. And I don't really see a combination of Donny or Ericsson doing much worse than McFred. I definitely can't, because both of them. I think another thing is I don't see him dropping Ericsson anytime soon, because one thing that I did see was Ericsson is really good at taking care of the ball. He isn't the kind of a person who's going to lose the ball immediately. He's a very, very smart professional when it comes to maintaining possession. So I do see Ericsson being a part of the squad.
He's not fit yet, though. That's the problem. He's not fit.
Yeah.
It's like he got taken off at 70 minutes, didn't he? He's not fit enough yet.
Yeah.
And we've got Brighton next week.
I mean, I would still say I think he would chuck in Ericsson in some way or the other, because if we don't chuck in Ericsson, it's pretty much McFred and Bruno. And if we put that out against Brighton, we know what happened the last time we did that.
Yeah.
So I don't see him using McFred. I think Ten Hag is still assessing most of these players.
I disagree. I think we're going to see McFred. I think we'll see it.
I think we could see one of them, but I don't know why. I still feel that Donny could feature.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah.
Should we to wrap up? Should we like looking ahead to the Brighton of the? Would Brighton play on Sunday or Saturday? We play
Saturday. I guess.
Sunday, I think.
Is it Sunday?
1 o'clock, isn't it?
Someone have a look. Someone have a look. Just find out. Looking ahead to Brighton, first game of the season. Obviously, we started off quite well in the preseason. A few wins.
Sunday, 2 o'clock.
Sunday, 2 o'clock. Cool. So, yeah, started off with a few wins. Obviously, then Aston Villa, kind of a draw, kind of sort of game of two halves, like we said. And then the sort of gutting loss against Atletico yesterday. And then today's sort of bore draw. It's kind of put a little bit of a damper on what started as a positive pre-season. And it's just kind of... So the sort of first half of pre-season, we saw the influence of Ten Hag, his tactics, the way he likes to play, all that sort of stuff. And then the latter half of the pre-season, we've seen the faults of Manchester United. Our lack of depth, our lack of quality in backup players, our lack of sort of options in terms of like changing things up and changing sort of if Ten Hag's certain way doesn't work, we haven't really got the players to sort of change the system. Because obviously if Ronaldo is gone, which is looking more and more likely every day, Martial is your only option. That's your only option. The only other option is what? Bruno at a false nine? That's it. That's your other option. So it's kind of opened my eyes a little bit. Obviously it's just pre-season. Never pay attention to pre-season because pre-season is pre-season. And obviously Fergie's famously, every season he starts slow. Every season he was a slow starter, and then by Christmas we started ramping it up and we just plough through and win leagues like that. So obviously, let's not read too much into it. Should we try and predict the team for Brighton right now? Because I think we all probably know what it's going to be, don't we? It's going to be De Gea. It's going to be Dalot. Somebody jump in if you disagree with me at any point. De Gea, Dalot, Maguire, Lindelof.
Varane.
I think Martinez, because that's why he was chucked out today.
You think he starts?
I still think it could. I think it could be Varane just because Martinez has just come in and it's just 1 week left. So
let's play today the whole game, right? And played the full 90.
Yeah.
So that's why I think like Martinez may get a chance because he was. Yeah.
What do you, Adam? Who are you saying?
I think Lindelof.
Yeah, I do too. I think Lindelof starts, and then I think Malacia starts left back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I don't think Teller starts, and Shaw's. I don't know. Is he injured? What's up with him? I've not heard him.
He was ill. He wasn't injured. He was just
ill.
But
okay.
but I still, I still feel that, just having Malaysia on that left-hand side makes it look more active. Even though, nothing is going on, at least it looks active, that something is going on that left-hand flank.
Anybody in chat, drop your sort of guess for your first 11 in the for Brighton game. Let us know who you think. Me and Adam think McFred in the midfield. Shreyas, Dan, agree, disagree? Who you think?
Donny and Fred.
Donny and Fred?
Yeah, I also think like it will be one of, I think it should be Fred, and I think it could be Ericsson or Donny alongside him, and Bruno on top.
Yeah, obviously Bruno, and then we're all going with Sancho, Martial, Rashford, front three. Yeah. So there's a couple of and the ones that the only one where I'd be happy to see a difference in the back line is the defence. Like, I'd be happy to see Martinez in. I'd be happy to see Varane in. Any of that. I'd happy to see any of them. That's fine. The midfield makes me worried. It really worries me.
Honestly, I would say if we are playing McFred, we need Martinez as well as Varane in that back line. Because if we don't have both of them, one of those flanks are definitely going to get exploited. Especially against Brighton. They don't hesitate in taking the physical game in the midfield as well, and we've seen how we fare up against a physical midfield. And except that, I would still say, they're much more coordinated than us. We've seen it last season as well. They're much more coordinated than us.
Graham Potter's got him playing well, hasn't he? He's a very good he's a very good manager. But that's our thoughts on the sort of the team that's coming against Brighton. Honestly, I can't think of much to say about this game other than it is a pre-season game. Boring opportunity for fringe and youth players to get minutes and get fitness under the belts. I can't really, unless anybody else got anything to say on it, I can't.
I would say we should go and get this first 2 wins, because that will help us to build the confidence for that Liverpool game, because we need that confidence. And this is where it makes a difference in the whole season, when you win against a team like Brighton's and Brentford's and other Crystal Palace and those type of games, and you can then afford to drop points against the top 4 clubs.
You have to win those games. You have to win those games.
One thing for certain is that if we don't get in a midfielder, especially after the Brighton game, we know what's going to happen against Liverpool then.
He's trying to upset me, Shreyas. Is that what you're doing? It's not the time or the place.
If any midfielder after Brighton game, I don't think he will start against Liverpool.
No, I thought because he's not going to be up to speed, is he? One last question then, and then we'll wrap it up. Adam, how many signings do you see getting in for the end of the season, for the end of the transfer window?
I think nearly the safest bet is 0 at this point. The manager obviously wants a lot more.
Yeah.
There's more talks going on about right backs, another striker. The Anthony talks are all dead. That's dead in the water, that deal. Realistically, you think maybe Man United might panic in the end. They usually do.
Severe said that in the chat yesterday, didn't he? He said the last couple of days he thinks they're going to have a madness and just sort of splash about in the cash.
Money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they may have to do that, so you could maybe see two more, maybe.
Interesting. Dan, are you still confident we're getting a CDM?
No.
No.
Not in the next 5 years. So, but they still will sign a couple of players, I believe. Yeah.
Still
we are already linked with a couple of players, Anthony and Frankie de Jong. If they miss them, I think they will go for another players.
Interesting. I love Dan's positivity because mine's severely lacking at this point. Shreyas?
I think I would still say, this is a new regime. So rather than, we used to go for desperate deals on the last day. So we ended up getting a signing. So I would comfortably say this year 0.
Interesting. I just hope we don't do what we did with David Moyes. We're going for massive players like Toni Kroos and Cesc Fabregas, and then we get Fellaini. Let's not do that. We're being linked to De Jong and Anthony and stuff like that, and then we end up with I don't know, give me a really generic midfielder.
Ward-Prowse.
Ward-Prowse, there you go.
John McGinn.
Oh, fucking hell. No, No. No offense to Villa fans, but no, don't want McGinn. You keep McGinn, we'll take Kamada off your hands. We'll take him. Like, don't McGinn. Jesus Christ. Anyways, apologies to everybody watching. This has been a bit of a drab sort of slog for this thing. Obviously, you watched the game, so I'm surprised anybody's watching this because that game was terrible. We should see you all this week because back to normal schedule this week. Obviously, Nick will be back. I believe he's supposed to be back today, but his flight's been delayed, so I think he's back tomorrow. So he may not be on the stream, the Insta Live tomorrow, but a bunch of us will be tomorrow. Tuesday, we'll have the news show. I'm not sure who's going to be on that at this point. I might take a little break because I've hosted every single show this week. So I need a bit of time off. So somebody will be on that. Wednesday, we think we're doing a season preview, are we, on the Wednesday? Thursday.
Thursday.
Fantasy Premier League show. We were thinking about.
Possibly might do the Fantasy Premier League shows. But something will be happening Wednesday anyway. Thursday, we're going to do the season preview. Severe, big guy at the channel, he's going to come on and do the season preview with some of us. And then Friday, we'll have the preview for the Brighton game. Sunday, obviously, the Brighton game. I'm not sure if there might be a watch along, but if not, there'll definitely be a review for the Brighton game on the Sunday. We might have to fit 10 bag in there as well somewhere because obviously Nick's back, so we need to fit 10 bag FIFA stream in there somewhere. We'll figure it out. The schedule will drop tomorrow and we'll let you know when that is. Follow all our socials: TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. Just search Real Reds Talk. We all pop up as Shreyas touches the pussy there. Follow all the socials. I've lost Dan. Dan's gone.
Quite a hairy one.
Follow all the socials. Always happy to chat football on any of those. Real Reds Gaming on the Twitch. Assassin's Creed, COD. No more PUBG because it's been banned, unfortunately, in India.
Still, fingers crossed.
Oh, is it still?
New developments.
Oh, new developments. Keep an eye on then.
VPNs, he means.
Give it 14 days and I'll know for sure.
There you go. So 2 weeks, baby. PUBG might be back on the menu, but we'll see what happens.
Frankie de Jong.
It's like the Frankie de Jong deal.
Ongoing saga of PUBG in India. And then follow. If you're watching right now and you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. It helps us tremendously. We're trying to get to 300 before the end of the season. If you can help us out, like the video, leave a comment. You what?
Started the season.
Sorry. My mind's fucking gone.
The end of the season, I'd be worried.
Yeah. Follow us on the Instagram. I'm trying to grow that as much as possible, so please follow the Instagram. Follow us on the Twitch. Follow on the Twitter, which Dan and Shreyas run. Lots of up-to-date news and all the links for the shows, all that sort of good stuff. Adam, am I forgetting anything?
I think you've kind of summed everything up there. I can't wait for a rest. I never realized watch-alongs take so much out of you, especially one like that, especially a game like that.
It's a drag. It's a drag when it's by yourself as it is, but when it's a shit game like that, it's so much worse. We're gonna the next watch along. Hopefully, we'll get a couple of people on, and hopefully, it's a bit better and a bit more to talk about because that was terrible. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you everybody who's been watching, subscribing, all that good stuff. Here's to a good season for Manchester United. We'll be back with a season preview this week. Look forward to all the good things. Insta Live tomorrow, so please come follow us on Instagram and check that out. Thank you so much, and we'll see you later. Peace.